They call the Public Works Standing Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Carroll. Here. Manning. Cosgrove. Severson.
Present.
Williamson.
Here.
Cooey.
Here.
McGuire.
Here.
You have a vote.
All right, verification.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting's properly.
So I need approval of agenda. We've got 11-point agenda. I get a motion for approval. Move for approval. Second. Steve, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 Motion carries. All right, minutes from December 4th. Everybody had a chance to look at them? If so, I will approve the minutes as they are presented. Public comment. Do we have anybody on for public comment?
See anybody?
All right, so the reports we go.
All right, mine's gonna be short and sweet. Only major thing we got going on is a project for HHS for the UW extension move is going to be, we got the bids in just before Christmas, I think it was, Trish, wasn't it, just before Christmas? Or not bids, we only received one out of the two that looked at it. Of course, Mike Marshall was the only one that turned anything in. I think it was around $18,000 somewhere right in that general vicinity for that remodel over there. He's gonna be starting next week. So we're getting all that area prepped and things tore out and ready to go so he can get started. I think the project end date is end of February, so we can get, or middle to end of February, so we can get UW extension moved in first part of March.
When do they have, is there a date they have to be out of it?
We're tentatively planning for March, but we haven't finalized any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so it should be good on
Yeah, we'll be good. We're gonna get stuff ahead of time, move, a lot of stuff moved ahead of time, all the desks set up and all that, so that takes care of a lot of their supplies. So that's it for that, and then we have a state boiler inspection coming with the new boilers. Got a lot of the bugs worked out, we had some there at first, but looks like they're running pretty good now, and hopefully it'll stay that way. Inspection will be this month sometime. And then, again, just the normal day-to-day breakdowns at all the buildings between Simons and EMS and here and across the street. Fix this, fix that, or they keep breaking.
Is there anything big that's breaking?
Not currently at the moment, I can't say that out loud.
That's the question. But day-to-day stuff is day-to-day.
Yeah, nothing
Something that's gonna turn
major at
into
this point.
Good.
So, and that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right. Any questions? It's not. All right, highway.
All right, I'll try to keep it short and sweet too. Everybody kind of knows what we're doing right now. We're in the heart of winter, so obviously winter operations. What I can do is go over the last couple months worth of bills because we weren't able to review those last time. So in the month of November, going back that far, we spent $439,186.82. Some of the larger expenditures were like Weezer Concrete. That was for the retaining wall blocks on County Road E at the cemetery. We had to build a whole new retaining wall. The original one was failing. Rolling machinery for $30,000. That's blades for the snow plows, cutting edges, Pioneer prints. That was the normal Christmas gifts that we do for the highway patrolmen, which are just sweatshirts. Easy Construction sand we took off the Gotham project, and then obviously the prepaids and payroll. Month of December, $514,658.28. The large one on there was a portion of the County Road Old project payment at $144,206.46. Short-term Elliott or short Elliott Hendrickson, this is SEH. That's the engineer consultant management group for the County Road Old project. And the rest is pretty self-explanatory.
What you did at Swiderski's?
What's that?
You bought something at Swiderski's. What was it?
That would be the Toolcat, which is for the radio tower project. For those who are unfamiliar with the Toolcat, it's like a side-by-side, except it has a little loader on the front. We have it rigged with a front-mounted snow blower and a sander in the back, new tires and chains for the wheels as well. Something that will actually move the snow. Safest thing we can put on those roads, we believe, in the winter months. So we'll find out. So, and then see here. I wanted to touch a little bit on parks, since we're here, a while ago, we've been working on this for the last couple of years. The boat landings, another county-owned property. So we've been working on trying to go after possible grants for that. So we've put 2 applications together, which will become due February 1st, and each boat landing is roughly gonna cost about $536,000 to redo. Now, with that, you'll be looking at a whole new boat ramp going in the water, a boat pier to accommodate for the canoers, kayakers, so on and so forth, and site improvements, and then obviously the construction and mobile for each one of those. Now, each one of those grants is gonna be a 50-50 cost share, so we would be liable for just over 250-some thousand. With the county being in an unforeseen situation with what we can borrow, I thought this information would at least be good to bring forward, since everybody has to talk about county-owned properties. We do have word from the state that right now on the boat landing grants, the state has over obligated some of the funding. So even if we submitted, they would most likely hold our applications till the following year anyways. So I think it's best that we just bring this information forward. When the time comes, we have everything prepped and ready to go. We can brush up on the construction numbers, and then when you guys give the green light, we'll go after. So I just wanted to make everybody aware we're working on it, but obviously it's always the funding thing is the issue. So ultimately it'll be up to when the county board can give money towards that particular project. Steve?
The cost for how was that calculated? How would that come up with?
We have I hire SEH on this consultant firm. So when they go in, it's broken down on these applications. So like the cost of construction of installing a boat ramp, which is the dredging of that particular spot, concrete, so, building and putting in place. Boat pier, cost for a poly boat pier, site improvements, new paving of the parking lot, dirt. So they use construction schedules, construction cost spreadsheets to come up with this information.
So they didn't necessarily go out for quotes, but they have data they use.
Yeah, they have calculations in-house to be able to put together those numbers. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right. Move on to the radio tower project update.
It's progressing. All the civil work is done. There's some work that they need to do on the generators next week. They've had a couple of issues. So on Tuesday, they're gonna be in town fixing those. GenCom is working on the communication between the different towers. A couple of them have been appropriate, but less than what they were hoping for. So they're trying to remove some antennas for it. I think they're hoping in 2 weeks to have the sheriff's department start some testing.
Perfect. When do we plan on being live with this?
The hope was this month, but it'll sound like once the sheriff's department starts testing, it's 30 days after that. And we'll start with the sheriff's department and then slowly add the rest.
Awesome.
There was an issue this week, just in case you heard anything, where Lone Rock couldn't hear paging. So when they were doing some work up at the tower here in town, something got disconnected that they thought was from concrete plant that was up there, but it wasn't. It was actually something that they needed. And so once they figured that out, but I think it was down to like 36 hours.
Ouch. Yeah. Any questions?
So in terms of final walkthrough and sign off, when do we expect that?
We can't do that till summer because we have to wait till the
That's right.
foliage is high. I believe that Mike Day will be in town and will be attending the meeting on Tuesday, the Executive and Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday to give an update.
So would we be holding retention until the final sign off?
Yeah, we'll keep the final 75,000.
Perfect. All right. Discussion, possible action on engineering firm for county projects.
So this is something that was brought up at a full county board meeting because we had a couple of bids in the same month that were pretty significant. And so there was the ask to have a discussion about possibly looking into an engineering firm to spec out what it is that we're looking for. Derek and I did meet with Corey from Venture today. His recommendation is that if it's maintenance, that we don't need to consult with an engineering firm. That if we are replacing something, apples to apples, we don't need it. But if we are looking to change something, we should then most definitely have an engineering firm come out and spec it out for us.
And I think that's where we ran into the problem, right? So we don't know apples to apples. In most cases, it's never apples. So the roof was not apples to apples and the air conditioning was not apples to apples.
Yeah, if we, in my opinion, if we'd had an engineer say, no, it's not feasible to put a, the building is not designed to put a slope roof on.
Exactly.
One of those bidders did do an apples to apples one, but the other one did a higher end, not apples to apples, and we went with that one. That's where he was kind of saying that he kind of lost that bid, because
Yeah, he went for the, yeah,
Well, but it wasn't apples to apples.
it was.
It may have the same performance output, but I mean, the equipment was completely different looking, not the same manufacturer, anything. So it wasn't like I put another Firestone tire on my car. It was different. So it wasn't apples to apples.
So my input on that part is, what do you do, which we've had two projects now, both the boiler project and the air conditioning project, which you do not have time for engineering thing. You're down to a time frame of, you can't wait 2 months for that to all go through and have it engineered. Because there's no way, if we'd waited for this air conditioning one to be engineered, we wouldn't even be getting that project in till June or July. Well, there's no way you're gonna have air conditioning for those 2 or 3 months that you're gonna need it.
Yeah, but
So how are you gonna see past that part of it?
my opinion on that, Randy, is we didn't do anything for 2 years. So we could have engineered the hell out of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So,
know you have a time frame. You know you have a time frame that you can wait and look ahead to do that. Yes, we can engineer it. But in these situations right now where it goes down, now you don't have time to
but
engineer.
that's a maintenance function. That's what Vetcher was saying, and that's the way I would look at that. If it breaks today, you gotta do something. You can't wait and engineer it. But
Right.
we knew for 4 or 5 years that
Right.
we needed to change that, and we did nothing. The question is do we get an engineering firm on retainer? Or that's where it is to say, okay. Randy comes and says, we got a problem, we're starting to see some issues over here, we need to do something. Okay, now the engineer goes and looks at it, what it is, and then we can have it bid and go accordingly.
Right.
I think the maintenance stuff, I agree, you just gotta fix it. I mean, you don't have a choice in that, but we knew this was something we just kicked down the road.
Well, and I think Steve will probably agree with me, this new committee that we're hoping by, what's our timeline, Trish? By June, July, we're hoping to have our, April, we're hoping to have our 20-year plan, which will look at, we hope, that does not put into the fact that the things that'll break. But everything on paper always looks good, but doesn't mean it.
Right.
Yes. My question from there too, are we stopping this engineering thing and just kind of building repairs and upgrades, or does it focus around everything? Because this committee has been a real big part of selecting trucks, or a piece of equipment. Getting a piece of equipment apples to apples from 2 different vendors is almost impossible, because you're talking 2 different manufacturers and 2 different designs sometimes, and you just gotta know, you gotta rely on the vendor to tell you it's gonna work. Because we're not experts, on building that piece of equipment. So that was the one thing I thought about, is like, where do you start and where do you stop with the engineering?
Well, the engineering, in my opinion, is the buildings, it's the heating, the air conditioning, it's stuff like that, roofing, all of that kind of stuff. It's more geared towards the building maintenance of what we have than it is you buying a new truck or a grader or something like that, because, okay, so then what engineer is gonna tell you what grader to buy? I mean, that's not their forte at all, I wouldn't think. I mean, you probably could find one, but they tell you this is the best spec for this or that, but to me, you're talking a different thing. Now, is there an engineering firm that can do our road engineering and everything else?
And that's what we already do. They engineer, they design it, and then they solicit for the bids.
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking, the reason why I brought it up for our buildings is over there, the air conditioning is probably, and heating is all messed up over there too, right across the street. So if we're gonna redo that, that needs to be engineered, because we've chopped it up and moved this and moved that, and, that's where I say, we know that we're gonna have to do something. Now, if one breaks, we're gonna fix what's broke, but that's why I would like to get a retainer with some engineering firm, whichever is the best one. Now, it sounds like school district uses so-and-so. I don't know who so-and-so is.
Well, if I may, when you do that, like I've talked with Trish about this many times, you don't have to put anybody on retainer. All you have to do is basic, if it's local dollars, there's no state or federal, you can use whoever you want at the drop of a hat. If you want to have somebody on a retainer, if you would put it that way, it's, you just do a general contract. It's what I do with MSA, SEH, and Westbrook. Basically means if I need anything, I call them up, I tell them what I'm looking for, they'll send me a contract with the scope of work for X amount of dollars not to exceed. I say, yeah, go for it. And then they provide me everything we're asking for. So it's just maintaining general contracts. Unless you use it, it doesn't cost you anything to keep them on retainer. You're not looking at paying them thousands of dollars just to have them a phone call.
And that's the goal, right? So retainer meaning, no, we're not paying you $1,000 a year, $10,000 a year to be on standby for engineering, but we need to have a relationship with an engineering firm that can come in and handle the differences that we have. Heating and air conditioning, roofing, structural, whatever it may be, we need to find somebody that can do that.
And it may be more than one outfit. Someone may have a specialty that we just need for roofing or for HVAC, and someone else, there may not be any stop shop.
And it could be, I don't know.
But further to what Steve was saying, whether it's this committee or that facility planning committee, a full inventory of the major equipment, buildings, it hopefully will give us more heads up. Less, I mean, like you say, we kind of knew things were skating along with that, but in general, there may be some other stuff that's okay, but if it's 15, 20 years old, we should still know that our time is short and get some engineer ready and lined up in case something it does start going bad.
I mentioned this a few years back, that like, how many air conditioners do we have that the county owns? Like, how many are on that roof over there? There's a lot.
22?
And, yeah,
I don't know, I didn't count them.
yeah, and you got all the campus out there, and you got his building, and you got the ambulance. And we're all working with different vendors, different people to fix them, different repair things. Like, that's where I think the engineer be coming in and saying, hey, you got like 30 air conditioners. They're from this year to this year. And to be efficient, instead of having these major breakdowns, we got to start being on this impact and start replacing them and teaching us how, or showing us how to do it.
Well, it's like this building here, we've been saying, I know I've been in this position 5 years, going on 6. We've been talking about this for 5 years.
So maybe
And
we
I
kick it
like,
down,
they kept
kick it down the
saying,
road.
we gotta change this, we gotta fix it, we gotta fix it. And nothing ever happened until it breaks down. And now it's like, well, we don't have any choice, we gotta fix it.
Been like that for years and years here, even before I got out. Always passed it down.
Yeah. And that was the only reason I brought it up, is because I think we need to be more on it. If we're gonna look 20 years down the road, we can sure as hell get a firm of some sort to help us go down that 20 year. And we've already had every building assessed to a certain level, right? So we should be able to find somebody that can help us maintain and work through a capital project list of what we need to do over the next 5 years. You know, that should be part of that 20 years, right? What do we gotta do in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be.
And when we met with Venture today in Corey, that's what he said. They could be like an on-call firm is what they call it. I've talked with SEH. They said they also could do that project because we are gonna have to do this for the HVAC system audit assignments. That's a project for this year. We've got the funds set aside. We're gonna need to have that.
So we should have that engineered so that we can get into whoever comes to this room, for whether it's us or wherever. At least they got 2 bids that are hopefully comparable.
And Corey said they would come to the bid opening, they'd prepare the RFPs, they'd come to the bid opening and they'd be able to answer questions of the committee.
Well, if that's what we're gonna do, I'm fine. I don't care who it is, as long as we get what we need out of it. And I don't know if we need to make a decision. Do we need to make a decision? Or do we just have Venture be who we're dealing with? And
Yeah, we can just make that decision.
yeah, I mean, to me, that's what we need to do.
And I think down the road, like Steve said, we may have, I'm looking at the campus, we may have water control issues. You know, if we take these buildings down, you know, we depending on how long it's gonna sit there, we gotta make sure we're not running water where it can't be going. So, stuff like that.
Yeah, campus I think will be handled because I think when we get to that part of it, we'll bring in specialists to organize.
Yeah.
And make sure it's done.
Let's see.
We're not talking about actually signing any kind of agreement or contract with Venture or anyone at this point, are
He
we?
calls it an on-call, that there would be an agreement that they would be an on-call firm, so that if we needed something, we could call them up, say, hey, we need to do the HVAC system. They would then, like Josh said, send us an agreement to get that done.
Is it exclusive on calls? What
No.
I'm getting at?
No, he made it sound like we could have a couple on hand if we wanted to.
Yeah, I got the idea, it was per project.
Yeah.
They, you know, it's like per project, so it could be for a smaller one or larger one, again, depending on the intricacy involved, right? If it's a large project or whatever, but yeah, that's the impression I got, on-call is needed. They give you a scope of work, do the RFPs, provide the consultation services, whatever you need, done until the next one.
Yeah. So what we talked about is we don't have anything in our budget for this year for it, but we could start to budget on a yearly basis for this. And he also said, Corey said, if we don't need it, they're gonna tell us, you know, you don't need to do this. This is apples to apples. You're just replacing, I think he said vents or something, as he
Yeah.
gave up that, you know, as an example, that you wouldn't need to do that.
I know another thing they do at Southwest Tech, because one day I about tripped going into the daycare, where the cement had changed because of the frost. So they have a firm that comes in and evaluates, they have so much sidewalk, that's a lot newer than here, but that's another issue is sidewalks around here, I was looking at them. I mean, they're too narrow, and Randy's gotta try and get down them to plow and stuff, but it's just, that'll all go into the 20-year plan as well, but
Well, I assume that's all right.
Buy a smaller shovel, Randy. That's all you get.
Small, I bought the smallest broom they had for my skid steer.
Well, they make other brooms. Well, okay, so I guess all it was let's have a plan so that we don't get into this mess again.
yeah, I agree.
I just, it wasn't, we had two of them back to back and neither one of them were, on our part, we didn't do a very good job of.
So, and they're
setting us up to-
$100,000 apart, so.
You know, setting up to succeed, really. I mean, I think we're gonna get fine with what we chose, but it wasn't fair to the other person that's been.
And the other piece of this is you want to treat contractors right. And if someone comes in and finds out that someone else did to approach it different and got the job, then they went through some effort that was a waste of time and plus transparency. So we should be doing this whenever we need to.
I agree. All right, so you got a plan. Perfect,
Thank you.
perfect. Future agenda items. Anything? Remember, this meeting won't happen again until April.
I was just looking at the calendar, yeah.
Probably sooner. I can't guarantee it's gonna be on next month's. We're gonna do the bids for plow truck
Okay,
and culverts.
and that's fine, whatever we gotta do. We can, like I said, the plan is, okay, we're gonna do it quarterly, but anytime we need to do something, we're not gonna wait. That's not how it's gonna be. It's just, there's no sense bringing everybody's time in here for 25 minutes.
Do we know, Trish, this committee will still be in charge of tax deed parcels? Derek, or, I mean,
Yeah, like setting the price and stuff like we have that.
yeah, like we
I
used to
don't
do,
remember.
we haven't done for 2.5 years.
I don't see why you couldn't, yes.
Well, because I would like to,
Yep.
once we get our new corporate counsel on and up to speed, I'd like to start whittling away at this list.
We've got it scheduled on Monday for Ashley to join the call with Nathan, the new attorney, to start talking about that.
So if we need to do something, so next month, you think we're gonna need a meeting, Jeff?
It's a good possibility if I can get it cranked out by then.
Good. All right, so more to come on that.
I'll touch base
And
with you.
yeah. Derek will call me anyway. If we should. All right. No correspondence? Motion to adjourn to maybe next month, otherwise April. Oh. Second. Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, okay. I did get an answer.